and we're back post-drying for some more work. A little bit more hideous, and I have a feeling the next time I crank on this thing after this all dries, I'll start work on the stem. I kind of want to try for a veiny look with this one. What the hell, I'll give it a shot. Alright, so here we go. Okay, I've done about all the work I can do on the face of this guy without getting into the stem, because I want the stem to branch down and make some squiggly things that come almost down to the face. But I'm not doing that step unless the stem is actually in place, so it's time to do the stem. The stem. There are many cool ways to do the stem. I will try to link a few that I have seen other people use. The stem can be a little stub, because that's easy. Or the stem can be a huge, squiggly, swirly affair that drives people mad just to look at it. That's complicated. So I'm going to show you how I do a stem. And then you can do stems however you want to do stems from now to the end of stem. So, some people will just use wadded paper. You can do that. It's fine. For those of you who are control freaks and want that stem to be in a position and stay in the goddamn position, like me, we have wire. But I know I mentioned in the materials section that you need if you want to do this stuff. Alright, this is 14 gauge galvanized wire. I use it for the core of my stems if I don't feel like doing a short stubby stem. If you don't want to do a short stubby stem, you do not need wire at all. I'm just going to cut myself a piece that looks appropriate, because I can always cut it down later. So this is going to be the core of my stem that's going to keep it in shape, so I don't have to fart around with it. Wahoo. Alright, now I'm going to wrap this sucker up in paper. And you don't have to be particularly choosy about how you do it. Because I don't want this becoming disassembled at any point, I'm going to masking tape it up. Alright, because I don't want the wire falling out, I'm just going to masking tape over the ends a couple of times. Sometimes you'll get enough paper and when you do this and when you wrap it to actually lift the paper over the tip and then throw some tape on it to hold it in place. Sometimes you don't. I cut this piece of wire a little bit long. Alright, so tape over the ends so nothing comes out. And now I have a foundation, and I'm actually going to tape that a little bit too. Just so this sucker stays together. Doesn't do to have a loose foundation to your stem. haw. Alright. When I pulled the garbage bag out, I left a little hole in the top, which is perfect for this. I can put my stem in, then I can decide how the hell I want it. And it occurs to me also that I am going to want to plug in my small hot glue gun. Because I like to hot glue my stems in place, or at least the foundation of them. I don't do my stems overly complicated for a number of reasons. Sometimes I have to transport these pumpkins. If you have gigantic stems that go all over the place, they don't stack very well. Sometimes they can hit things and break off. But again, if you've got your own storage and you want them to look absolutely crazy, go for it. It is so much fun. So very, very much fun. The more complicated you get with your shapes, the more difficult they can be to paint. If that's not a huge concern for you, great. Absolutely great. This is obviously, again, just the foundation of your stem. So you're going to want to add some bulk to it. To add bulk to it, we're just going to tape more paper around it until we can then throw a mache layer and then a paper clay layer. So I'm just going to start getting some big wrapped up coils of paper ready. Smush down, make it fairly tight. If it starts getting away from you anywhere, just masking tape around it. So this is just a paper strand with some tape everywhere now and again to hold it together. Probably should have grabbed my big glue gun, but I used the small one because I'm going to want to glue the inside, and there is no way my large glue gun is easily going to get in there to do what it's got to do. And I may very well end up doing a quick fade to get this to a point where the glue gun is hot and we are ready to glue it in. Alright. I went and I got my big glue gun anyway because, well, I can still use it on the outside. I love the big glue gun. Alright, so set the stem. Adjust how you want it. Make sure you're looking at it from a front so you know how this is going to look. And then set your stem in place with some hot glue. When you set this in place, make sure you take strings up the side of your stalk. This is going to give it the extra holding power that's going to hold it in place. So take them out and take them up all the way through. Give this thing just as much gripping power like the roots of a tree. Make sure it spreads out and it runs all the way back up the stem, or at least a couple inches up to hold it in place. Bear in mind also, the closer your stem is to the surface of your pumpkin when you are painting, it's going to get harder to get underneath there. So leave yourself a good gap so you can get your paintbrush underneath, up and around. Don't put it too close. Yeah, my main glue gun is being a little bit of a pill right now, so hot glue on the stem, holding up the base of it. A little bit of spider webbing out, just because I felt like having fun and I've got a big hot glue gun. Alright, then, because I can, you don't have to, I'm going to head to the inside with the small hot glue gun and secure the base as well. I've done many pumpkins without doing this, so it's not mission critical, but I feel better for having done it. Remember, if you do hot glue the base, it's going to cause the other stuff to heat up a little bit, which might cause it to bend. So just hold it back in place, wait till it rehardens. Shouldn't take more than a moment or two. Now, if you want to make a more complex stem than just a single nubbin or stump or twist or whatever, just grab yourself another piece of that wire wrapped in paper, tape it right to the original, and then take it off in whatever direction you want. No problem. The wire will give it plenty of stiffness, and when it's done, you can stop and take a look at it, say, I like this, I don't like this, twist it, reimagine it, and the wire will keep your base in shape. And then you can start bulking it up as you choose. The bigger the pumpkin, obviously, the bigger the stem. For me, the stems are pretty much just handles, so it's easier to grab this sucker and carry them around. But for other people's, they are, 9/10 of the pumpkin, making cool, spirally, weird, creepy stems. Great. Excellent. Have fun with it. Alright. It's not moving. Good. So, if you need to at this point, you can adjust. Bend it up, bend it down, bend it over. You're fairly well rooted with that hot glue lump base. And now we can start thinking about bulking it up. So we take our previously made stick of paper. I'm going to grab some masking tape, which hopefully I mentioned in that materials section. Get a strand or so ready. And we are going to wrap this paper tube around the stem. And this is going to add bulk to the stem structure. Every now and again, stop. Give it a wrap with masking tape, hold it in place, squish it down, and some of the hot glue, if it's not dry yet, will affix that right there. And bulk your stem as you see fit. You can anchor it with masking tape, it doesn't matter. I just have the hot glue right here and it's already switched on, so I don't have to screw around. And quite frankly, that's about all I'm going to do with this one. Because this is going to get a layer of Mache and then it's going to get a layer of paper clay. I think that's going to be bulked out just fine, and I'm not really looking for a huge complicated stem on this particular pumpkin. But let's say I wanted to. I would grab another piece of wire-coated paper. I would coat this with some more paper. I'd have done this before I did the bulking up wraparound step, which incidentally looks like that. It's just wrapped around and taped here and there. But I'd have taken my second piece and I'd have attached it to the first, gone wherever, maybe done it a little bit higher up, any sort of place. You can make whatever kind of stem you want to make. That looks pretty good. I like the look of that. Oh god damn it. Now I gotta do it. Frankly, that's about all I'm gonna do with this one. Alright, so that stupid little hold it up and see how it looks like thing looks really freaking cool, so. I'm going to take another piece of wire wrap paper. I'm going to do something I don't normally do because it's fun. That was terrible. And hopefully, if nothing else, this will illustrate just how forgiving this kind of project is. I see something new and cool. All I need to do is just bulk it up with paper, and it will be reality. The paper doesn't care how or when you do it. The paper just wants you to have a fun time. Alright, I got a second stem segment. All I'm going to do is just jam this first one here right into that bulking up stuff I had earlier. Let me take a pen here and make myself a socket. And ferociously jam it in. Keep your minds out of the gutter. Good, it's pretty much back in that, hey, that looked cool position. I don't feel like making a whole big thing, so I'm just gonna wrap up some pieces. Bulk it up with some paper. Secure and anchor it. It up. Okay, the camera ran out of space, which is kind of cool. It means I've done a ton of recording, so I'm going to keep going with the stem now. Sorry about the slight interruption. The stem right now that's coming off is very, very sticky, and I'm a little bit worried about that, especially if I do any kind of grabbing of it, because I might try to use it as a handle, as I've mentioned before. So I'm just going to try to give it a little bit more bulk, but I don't really feel like making the tube to go around it. So I'm just going to apply a few more layers with just masking tape and straight up paper. All this stuff is going to do is form a foundation that I can then papier-mâché off of. Just a thin coat of it. As I think about it, I'm wondering if you were desperate enough, if you could actually make a whole thing of just straight up tape. It'd be terrible. This is my masking tape pumpkin. Yeehaw. Seal down the tip. There we go. Little extension. Comes off the front. Goes out. It's rather thin. I honestly don't know how well the thinness will stack up. At all. I see too, I've got kind of a thin spot in the back of this stem. I don't want to fill that entirely with paper clay. I'm worried that that will take forever to dry. So I'm going to try to make up the difference here with paper and tape. I am just going to fold some paper together into a wad, fold it over, hold it down, and tape it in place. When you throw Mache on, it will get wet, and your tape will stop holding very well. Bear that in mind. So if you do your tape, do it in full loops so it can come back around and stick to itself. And that will hold up a little bit better. Cool. Alright, there's the foundation of the stem laid. All it's left to do now is give it a mache layer.